Rocky and I have been asked by our boss to send him a weekly status report. Well, Thinkfuse has a better way to do it, and I'm really interested in seeing whether it'll help our status reports. Who are you?
I'm Brandon Bloom. I'm one of the co-founders of Thinkfuse. We're a TechStars Seattle 2010 company. We're building a better way for teams to manage and share weekly status reports. And it was really kind of inspired by some of the work that my partner and I did at both Microsoft and Google while we worked there, and all the struggles and trials and tribulations of keeping different team members in sync.
Yeah. So what's wrong with status reports?
Well, so it's not so much what's wrong with status reports, so much as it is what can we get out of them? What's not being done with them? Like there's problems in the enterprise and in big businesses and even in small businesses of trying to get the right information to the right people at the right time. And one way companies and teams do this now is with status reports. The problem is that they get sent point to point from one person to another, and they sit in an inbox and they kind of just collect dust. But they're this subset of email that's actually much more public and important and shared and loaded with vital business information that is being underutilized. And so what our tool does is it starts as a kind of a workflow tool for people and project managers to make sure that the right content gets put in reports and they get mailed to the right people. And then we provide kind of additional layers of information and interesting stuff on top, like a Twitter-style subscribe mechanic to make sure that everybody who's interested in all the key stakeholders are getting the right information.
Yeah. And so what does it look like? What's different about it than just sending an email, of 10 things we did in the last week,
So it's very much an email-centric product, but it kind of, if you go browse our site, it feels a little bit like a special purpose blog. You just see everybody's status reports down the line, and there's a bunch of widgets and controls for slicing and dicing the information. Each report's broken into a bunch of sections, which can be different things. So for example, you could have a schedule or a traffic light or a graph, different things we're building in there, and all the reports from a team get aggregated together, and we can do interesting stuff with that data.
Okay. And how do you guys get paid? Do I pay for this service?
So we're taking a page out of Yammer's book. It's kind of a viral distribution because you're pushing out these email reports, and then a couple of individuals within a larger enterprise can start using it for their small team, 3, 5, 10 people. And as time goes on, we'll invite them to send out roll-up reports, tell them to invite stakeholders, and overall encourage more and more people to get sucked into the network. And it's a per user, per month subscription-based model.
Very cool. Tell me a little bit about TechStars and how you changed your product over the 3 months.
How do we change our product? A lot. We came in and our product was a lot more task-focused. It was really interested on the key idea we had when we came into it was it's not so much as important as like all the things you're not going to do as the things you've actually done. And so we kind of had this little prototype of a task list. So a to-do list. It had goals and accomplishments. In a normal task list, you add goals and you mark them off, and they have a strikeout through them. In our little prototype, we added an extra box that said add an accomplishment, and we didn't strike them out. There was 2 columns, goals and accomplishments. And in experimenting with users, we found that people were actually writing down things they've already done. And it kind of like made them feel good that they like had a track of the work they did. And it's fundamentally the same as adding a goal and checking it off, but because that extra box was there, people's behavior was different. Yeah. And this way, each week, we could get interesting things about what got accomplished, what didn't get accomplished. Oh, this was deferred, this was reassigned, that sort of information that gets lost when you have a giant backlog of things. Yeah. And it turned out that was really interesting to individual contributors, but we really wanted to target managers. And so we've kind of put that idea on the shelf, and we'll probably come back to it. And it might be a piece of our grander system, which is about getting much more information than work items, schedules, qualitative information, numbers, lots of stuff, like things you would typically send in an email report that you wouldn't necessarily get from a bug tracking system or a work tracking system or something like Microsoft Project. Yeah.
Could you have gotten to this place without going through an incubator like TechStars?
We could have, but it would have taken a lot longer. Yeah. TechStars, we came into TechStars with our prototype. Like I said, we had a couple people at TechStars using it. It became apparent within about 2 weeks that it wasn't quite on target, which would have taken months to realize. And then we spent like 2 or 3 more weeks kind of like figuring out, talking to customers, like what would actually work. And then once we thought we had enough information, we kind of like held up in a conference room for 4 nights, like whiteboarded everything, and learned Ruby on Rails. We didn't know a line of Ruby, and like whipped together another prototype in like 3 weeks, and just like, all right, great, we've got something, and like put that in front of users. And we would never have had the same access to users and to the mentorship and like all the different pieces of TechStars. Just made sure that all had happened on a much, much shorter time scale than if we weren't in TechStars. And as a bonus, I'm now friends with everybody in the whole program. Everybody's great. Like, you know, we all hang out together, we all help each other, we all party together, and it's just, like, if my company were to explode tomorrow, summer camp was really fun. So.
Well, and it helps get investors too. At the end of it, you present to, I don't know, dozens of investors, right?
Yeah, I think there was 200 plus attendees on demo day, and a really good crowd, and all 10 companies just did a killer job, and it was just really fun to watch the progress. And if Andy ever lets you look at the video from the first week, it's kind of embarrassing how bad we were compared to now. Everybody's gotten so much practice talking about and interacting around their product and their business.
Very cool. Where do we learn more about what you guys are doing?
You can go to thinkfuse.com,
yeah.
And I believe we're still working on the name of the product. The product is tentatively called This Week, Last Week. So you can go to Thinkfuse and click the link, or you can go to thisweeklastweek.com and sign up for a beta invite.
Very cool. And are you guys on Twitter as well?
We are. We're not super active. We're going to try and work on that.
Okay. What's the Twitter address?
At Thinkfuse.
Thank you so much for
thanks for having
me
me.
A tour.